So I took a page out of Rod's book, Firewood Midwest. I said, woman, I'm gonna buy that saw, whether you like it or not. Hello friends, and welcome back to the channel. Today, got a new saw. I'm really excited about it, and can't wait to show you. But first, we need to talk about how this makes any sense. And the answer to that is it doesn't. Why does man need more chainsaws? No, you don't need any more chainsaws, but my hobby is chainsaws. I love chainsaws, I love cutting wood, love everything about it. And just can't resist, you know what I mean? So I'm sitting in my saw corner. Let's go over my current saws, and then we'll talk about how this new saw is gonna fit in. So first, over there, I've got the Husqvarna 450 Rancher. I don't really use that saw really at all. It was my first chainsaw. I bought that saw several years ago, and it's nostalgic to me. That's why I keep it around. Just 50cc range saw, pretty decent little saw. I've got the Husqvarna 545 next up, 50cc Pro Saw. I like that saw. It's a good limb saw. Cuts firewood nice. Not super fast, but it is so light, and with a good chain on that thing, very pleasing to use. Up next, I've got the Stihl MS 462. Now that saw is one of my favorite saws I have, and I'll just tell you right now, it is my favorite saw. Great power to weight ratio. It cuts super nice. That is a 70cc Pro Saw. It's one of my favorite saws. I've had that saw for a year now. That was the most recent firewood saw that I've bought. And I've had it a year, so you get it. I'm due for a new one. I've got the Stihl MS 201. That one's just a good limb saw. It's good, convenient to use. I really like that saw. Next up, I've got the trusty Husqvarna 572 XP. That saw was the first power saw I ever bought. Power saw, I don't know what you want to call it. It was the first big real saw I bought. I bought that in early, I think January of 2022. I've had that one for quite a while. She's a nice saw, rips good. And last but not least, I've got the 592 XP. It's got the 32-inch bar on it right now. I'm kind of dedicating this saw to big wood and try to keep some hours off of it, just not run it senselessly. You know, I've got several other saws, and we're going to try to just keep that one, you know, for big wood. That's kind of the plan with that. So guys, I love chainsaws. Love everything about it. I love cutting wood. I love small engines. I love two-stroke. Chainsaws are my hobby, and hobbies don't always make sense. You don't need this many chainsaws to cut the amount of firewood I cut, but I love chainsaws. My go-to chainsaw it's a 70cc saw. I love the 50cc saw if I'm out and about, you know, in the woods, cutting lemon, you know, cutting not too big of wood. My go-to saw is the 70cc. My 462, I told you it's my favorite. Power to weight is just, it's unbeatable. I hear there's a better one on the market, but that one is one of my favorite saws. My 572, super great in the wood yard. It's a little bit heavier than the 462. I don't think it has quite as much power. That's why I love that 462. 592, it's just a wood yard saw. It's heavier than I would like to carry around the woods or be out and about with. But 70cc saw is really my go-to. I love the power to weight of the 70cc saws. It's not too much weight, but it has really good power. So there is kind of a gap right now. So I told you I really like 70cc saws. I've had a Husqvarna 562. That was a 60cc saw. I had that last year. I sold it probably a year ago now. That's the only saw that I've ever sold. I like hanging on to saws, even if I don't use them. You know, you take care of them, they'll last a long time, and someday I'll use it. But there was two saws I thought about getting, and well, I chose one. And you're probably tired of watching the video. Let me grab that saw for you. Power to weight is one of the reasons why I chose this saw. The other reason I chose this saw is because it's super talked up on YouTube. People regard this as the best firewood saw ever, and I'm either gonna find out that it's the best, or want to test it against some others and see how it really stacks up. And is it the best chainsaw, the best firewood saw? Because this is Yeah, it's probably the most expensive saw on the market, and it's not a 661 or a 592, so you already know what it is. I've got the Stihl MS500i. This is my latest saw. I'm really excited to use this. I've ran Mike from K&L Firewood. I've used his several times. Every time I use it, I'm satisfied. It is a very good saw. I haven't put enough time on it and used it in enough scenarios to decide whether I love this saw or I think there is better options available for the money, because this is a very expensive saw. I think the list price on this saw with a 25-inch light bar is like $1,619 plus tax. So honestly, insanely expensive considering, you know, the 462 I think is $200 something cheaper. The MS400, which is a very highly regarded saw, is $500 cheaper than this. The Husqvarna 572 is probably $300 or $400 cheaper. So I really wanted to get this saw for my own opinion on it, test it out, show you guys how it stacks up to these other saws, and you know, hopefully I really enjoy it. I guess if not, then I'll sell it. I probably can't say that because I don't really sell any saws, but I guess if I don't like it, then I'm sure I'll like it. I'm sure this is going to be a great saw. But I love the idea of this saw. It is 14.5 pounds power head, and it's a little bit heavier than some of the other saws. It's not as heavy as a 90cc saw. I really like the idea that it is fuel injected. The videos I've watched and the times that I've used the 500i of Mike's, they start up so well because they're fuel injected. It seems like no matter what, 3 pulls and it's going. We've tested this saw previously and against some other saws, and I'm really curious to see how it's going to stack up against the 462, because I think that saw is very close to this one, but we'll find out. Once I get it broken in, we'll run some tests, but until then, I'm going to enjoy it and hopefully enjoy seeing it, because you'll probably see quite a bit of it, hopefully. But I've got a pile of parts for this thing, and they're going to go on right now. So you're going to have to stick around till next video and see all the parts that go on this thing, because this saw has an essential parts list, I feel like, and I've got them all because I wanted to experience this at 100% parts, and I'm going to put them on. So thank you guys very much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for commenting. That will do it for this video. Hope you're not dissatisfied with what I got. I know there's at least one person that's going to watch this video that doesn't really like this saw, and that's okay though. We'll see you next time. Thank you for watching, and you better stay tuned because you're going to see a lot of this saw coming up. We'll see you next time.